So now that we've kind of talked about the project a little bit, let's jump into ZBrush, and we're going to kind of, design's going to take a back seat for a second, and intro to ZBrush is coming up, all right? So we're going to start with a sphere. We're going to start to move it around to create a bust. And you'll notice as I'm working, some of these polygons are starting to stretch and kind of look like crap, like it's just not even manageable to work on, all right? So how do we fix that? Well, originally what a lot of people would do is hit divide, basically adding more subdivisions. And what you see here is like this, this model right now is 2,790 active points. Well, when I subdivided, it made 11,000. So like we're progressively getting higher and we'll have a little bit more resolution there. Well, the problem is though, look at basically the density. Here, you see how it's kind of nice and even throughout? And then down here, we still have a bit of that stretching, even though there's more subdivision levels, that's not evenly distributing them throughout the mesh. So this part is, in all honesty, probably the funnest part because you're taking nothing and turning it into something. It's also the most terrifying part because you're just like, there's this point when you're sculpting and you're like, this looks like garbage. And this is where, you know, the boys become the men. And do you take the time and figure out what's wrong with it, what's not working, and you fix it? So since this character doesn't have eyes, why don't we really sink some of those areas in? I'm just using the clay tubes brush. It is easily the weapon of choice. And just building mass up and kind of sculpting with the forms. You know, I've heard certain people say like kind of like with the grain. So, you know, like the zygomatic bone, how it's coming around the side of the head, going in this way. We're going with the flow and the rhythm of that shape. So one thing you'll notice that I'm kind of painting is the underside of this character is a little bit lighter and the backside's a little bit darker. And that's thinking about like, it's a little bit about camouflage, like fish. If you notice, fish from above are usually darker, and why is that? So that when predators are above and they look down, they camouflage with the darker water below. And then vice versa, they're usually lighter on the bottom, so that when a predator looks up, that light fish will blend in with the lighter water above. Well, with this guy, with it being a little bit darker on his back, if he's kind of hunched over and going around, maybe the backside would be darker where those kind of calluses and that darker skin is formed. So it keeps, you know, the kind of the sun at bay. Some of these kind of other smoke brushes are nice because it kind of gives like a little breakup on the skin. You just get that nice soft transition as it'll fade into the rest. I want to take the noise of that that metal overlay. I want to take that off the gums and teeth so the teeth look and appear to be a bit smoother than the, you know, the coarse creature-like skin around the rest.